Welcome to Real Talk on Racism. My name is Renai Ellison, and today we have the most amazing guest. Her name is Beverly Gray. She is an author. She is a nonprofit leader, and most importantly, she is an advocate for those who have experienced domestic violence. I want to introduce you to this incredible lady. Hello, Bev.
Hello, I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. Today's topic is about race, religion, and domestic violence, because those three things have intersected in your life.
Yes.
In a very dramatic way. And I would venture to say that you're not alone.
Oh, yes.
So let's start by giving our viewers a little bit of a snippet of your life, who you are, and why you have come to this work in terms of domestic violence.
Well, again, thank you for the invitation to come and speak about this very passionate, I don't know what to call it. I can't say problem, because it's not a problem anymore, but it is a problem.
Yeah.
I have been in a domestic violence relationship, and that's what made me come to this. So now I'll take you back a little bit. My name again is Beverly Gray. I hail from New York City, Bronx, New York.
Bronx, New York?
Bronx, New York.
That's where J-Lo's from, I think.
Yes. And grew up in Queens.
Okay.
So I was in the suburbs and got grown when I went to college.
And where'd you go to school?
I went to Old Westbury University.
Okay.
Yeah, out on Long Island. I went to Andrew Jackson High School in Queens. And, I lived a very nice, comfortable life, and went to school, got grown, and did all kind of things that I probably wasn't supposed to do, and enjoyed it.
You were adventurous.
Yes.
Stepped out on faith a
Nothing bad, but just, lived life. Well, I moved to the Bronx, and I became a minister. A minister of the gospel, and I was so excited when I got my call to preach. And I was married. My husband passed away in a car accident.
Let's talk a little bit about your call to preach and your call to the ministry. How did you know? What made you certain?
I did a lot of work in the church, and that wasn't it. I wasn't asleep. A vision came to me while I was studying a Sunday school lesson. And I saw myself running through a campus telling people, you can be saved.
Like John the Baptist.
And it was during registration time. I know.
So it sounds to me like you were always firmly rooted.
Yes.
In God's word.
In my religion, yes. I was brought up in a very religious home and not able, it wasn't one of those that you couldn't be yourself, but I'm rooted in my religion.
In your faith.
Yes.
And that's why it sounds like when you say you did things that you weren't supposed to do, you had a kind of a good girl.
Yeah, I was a structured. Yeah, my mom, yes, and my grandmom. Yeah, we grew up and I loved it. I mean, I met some good friends. I still have my best friends from church, I loved it. And while I was in church and I accepted my call and I was preaching and teaching, and I met this guy. Oh, cute guy, had this awesome Jamaican accent, and he just drew me in. Right. He was so mannerable, opened doors for me, closed doors for me. If I was going somewhere, he wanted to ride with me and keep my company. I thought this was such a great thing. And people were like, well, everywhere I see you, I see him. And I'm like, well, he said he wanted to come. So.
Well, was it Natalie Cole who said inseparable?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like that's a good thing?
Yeah.
Right?
So I thought.
So you thought. Okay.
So I thought.
Keep it moving.
And he too was in the church and he could pray. Could pray, knew his Bible, and we dated. And he even bought me clothes. This was one instance I always remember. Now I was a singer in the choir, lead singer, and we wear black and blue skirt. White top, blue skirt. He goes out and buys me this fabulous outfit. It's a white jacket with a blue skirt. Well, I can't wear that because I got to sing the lead. But he made me feel bad, and I wore it to church. Didn't notice that either.
Red flag.
All over the place, all over the place.
Them, right?
Yes.
You just ignore them.
Yes. And I said before, we're just walking through life with our eyes closed, but we're walking.
So Beverly, if you had to talk to somebody who was in a situation like that, and you had to describe that red flag, how would you describe that red flag?
Something in you feels not right. And you know it's not right. But sometimes we just want things. We just desire to have a certain thing. And I desired to have a relationship because, like I said, my husband passed away because I have 2 children. He passed away in a car accident. So I desired to have a relationship. And this man, out the blue, thought I was cute. You know, I was a little chunky, so my self-esteem wasn't all there.
Yeah.
And he treated me like a queen, you know.
Validated
Oh,
you.
my goodness. So.
And speaking of queens, do you mind if I just grab this? You are an author in this incredible anthology, one of 21 women, queens who defy the odds.
Yes.
And it's a book about resiliency and the idea that resiliency is not just surviving but thriving. Because when we talk about domestic violence and we talk about sexual violence, we always talk about people as survivors.
Right.
And the goal, I think, for every survivor is to go beyond surviving to thriving.
Yes.
So you've written this, and your story is in this book, Queens Who Defy the Odds, and you gave me this little...
Yeah, because we are queens. We are queens.
So tell me, you know, when he was treating you like a queen, did you feel like you were a queen?
I did. I felt like I was a queen. I just felt beautiful. There were many red flags, but in any relationship, you're going to have ups and downs.
Right.
So I didn't count that as too much.
Because what happens, I think sometimes, is we think about the challenges, right? And we think, oh, well, you know, we're just going to go through challenges. And we're just going to go through obstacles.
Yeah.
And we don't realize that they're a little bit more serious than that. So
they are.
So continue with your story.
Yeah, I'm just going to cut right to the chase. Well, we went to dinner at one of our, you'll read it in the book. We went to dinner at one of our church sister and brother's house, and lo and behold, he asked me to marry him. Now, some more red flags came because we were dating maybe a year and a half.
A little quick.
Yeah. And we didn't know each other really well. But I want to save face, and I, you know, felt a little ashamed if I told him no. I didn't want to embarrass him, so I said yes. Right. So, and then the church got so excited, so they planned the entire wedding.
Wow.
Yeah. All I had to do was buy my dress, and they had everything set up. So I'm saying to myself, this is not right. My kids didn't feel like it was right. My mom said, she was funny. She said, what's you need, a green card? I said, no, Mom.
Why so quick?
No,
right?
Mom, everything's fine. So they were supporting me. And then not 24 hours after the I do, and we went to the what is it after the wedding?
Reception.
When you go away.
The honeymoon.
Honeymoon.
The honeymoon.
The honeymoon was over.
Oh.
The honeymoon was over. As soon as we got back, the real him began to come out. He was just as mean and ornery.
So he flipped the script on you a little bit.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Did you, but you had signs.
Oh yeah, along the
prior.
way.
Right.
You know, he would have his little tantrums and stuff along the way.
Right.
But again,
You kind of brushed it off.
yeah, and I just, I wanted, as women do, I wanted to be with my man, and he was a nice man, and he was a church man, and he even had a call to preach, so he was a preacher himself. So I said, everything is great here, God. You got me with a preacher man, and then things started changing.
So you're in the relationship, and you're having these conversations with him about the relationship, I suppose,
Yes.
and you're telling him what are the conversations like between the two of you?
Just what our desires are, our goals, and and
Did you feel like you were on two different pages, though?
no, we were sometimes we were so in sync, and I don't know if he was feeding off of me or I off of him, but we were in sync. But then he would go so far left where I would say, well, I want this in church, and I want to teach when I finish. I want to complete school. You don't need to go to school. You had enough school. So I stopped going to school.
Oh, okay.
I stopped going to school.
We do that, right?
Yep.
We do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Bev, when did it cross the line to becoming a domestic violent situation? Because the mind games start before the actual physical violence starts, right? Mm-hmm. In your situation,
Yeah.
in many people's situations.
Yeah.
When did it cross the line?
He started getting physical even before we would leave to go to church. Or if I had to go out and preach, like I said, I'm a minister, so I would have to go out in different preaching engagements. And I don't know if it was jealousy, but I would come home to a fight. And I would have to literally fight, as long as my kids were not in the house. And a lot of times my children would go stay with my god sister, and so it was just us. So it would be a battle.
A physical battle.
Physical, broken dressers, pushed into doors and punched holes in the wall. It was bad. It was very bad. Pushed down steps. Yeah. And I was too embarrassed to tell anybody.
Of course.
Because, I'm supposed to be this preacher lady full of faith, I know Jesus, and God is so good all the time, and I'm blessed and highly favored. But I would come into church. This is the part that got me. Come to church broken. You could tell I've been crying. Now, we get happy in church and we cry. But you don't cry all the time.
No.
You don't cry.
Something's wrong.
And nobody would say, Bev, you all right? Bev, what's going on? So I did one time, and I went and I was talking to my pastor. And I said, he's really mean and he's doing mean things. I didn't go into detail because I was, again, too embarrassed. He's doing real bad things to me. He said, what did you do to cause that man to act like that? Everything shut down after that. I can't tell nobody in the church now because I felt like, what did I do wrong? I must have done something to cause him to do this to me.
And then they blame you.
Victim blaming.
Victim. Bev, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back. And I want to hear more about the other side.
Yeah.
When you started to thrive. And your chapter in the book, I win in the end.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that when we get right back. Welcome back. We are here with Bev Gray, and we're talking about your incredible life story and this wonderful chapter that you've written in Queens Who Defy the Odds. an anthology
Yes.
of 21 women, you being one of them, who really embody the idea of resiliency and going from surviving to thriving.
Yes.
That's what this entire book is all about. So if you have a chance, pick up your copy. It's available on Amazon, I suppose, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Bev, before we went to the break, we got into a little bit more detail about how the race and the religion and the domestic violence intersect, and we talked about the conversation that you had with your pastor.
Yeah.
And how he victim blamed you. What did you do? What did you do to provoke this man to behave this way?
Right.
And you were describing how that made you feel, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about how it made you feel. And then when the shift happened, because I read the chapter, so I know that there was a shift soon thereafter that conversation that really impacted you. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, after that, I knew it was time to go. And of course, things got worse before they got better, but they did get better. And it was to the point where my landlord helped me to move. And I moved into a mold-infested place, and I was homeless. I was moving from place to place to place.
With your children?
With my children, and going to work at the city of New York every day as a supervisor. So I was helping people get homes and furniture and stuff, and I moved from pillar to post, not knowing what my next home would look like. And then it got to be enough. And I told my mom, and I ended up relocating to Philadelphia.
Went back to Mama.
Mom, God bless her. And I got here, and it was a little struggle in the beginning trying to find my footing, getting, job and all. I ended up working for a judge, Judge Renai Hughes. I love her. She's mentoring me right now because not only did I go back to school, but I don't know how to get out of school.
Because you're close to your doctorate.
I'm a candidate right now.
Awesome, congratulations.
For my PhD. Thank you.
That is not an easy thing.
Not at all.
Congratulations, Bev.
Thank you. I went back to school. I got my master in human service. I got my master MBA, business administration. Now I'm going for my doctorate in management.
This the woman who he said,
you don't need school.
You don't need school.
I said, yes, I do.
What has it done for you?
It has
accomplishments.
It has, for one thing, even going through what I went through, God allows us to endure things. We don't see it while we're in it, but he allows us to endure certain things that we may minister to others. So I may have gone through it, but it wasn't for me. It was for me to be able to help somebody else. You know that song? If I can help somebody as I travel on, then my living is not in vain. So all of that was not in vain because I got my ministry out of it. My Balm and Gilead ministry.
Tell me about
that.
Because that to me is the ultimate victory.
Yes.
That is the thriving story,
Yes.
right? The fact that you were able to take all of this pain
Yes.
and turn it into purpose.
Yes.
What a beautiful thing. Talk to us about your ministry.
And God gave me the name, the Balm and Gilead, because there's healing for your soul. Because some people are so broken, they feel like they can't get out of domestic violence. They feel like that's the end. I may as well just roll over and die. I'm never going to be anything. I'm stuck. And it's not. There's healing. So what I recognize is that the church does not know how to help. Like I said, I came crying. I looked broken sitting in the pew. I went to my pastor and he said, what did I do? Pastors, clergy, lay leaders, they don't know. So I go and I will train you to be advocates. You will be certified with 25.
This is the work that you do in your ministry.
This is what I do with the Balm and Gilead. I explain to you what domestic violence looks like. Yeah, I may have had some bruises, but that's not all domestic violence is. The mental piece of it is worse than ever. And can you only imagine now in the pandemic, And it has grown. Just to let you know, the statistics said it has gone completely, I don't even have the numbers, but it's so high right now because now you're locked in with your abuser. So I have to train. The church is supposed to be the place of refuge. That's where God told me to train people. But I will go to the community. We go to the church for help. And we should be able to find that help there. So I train people how to be advocates, how to recognize the signs. Don't just see somebody and then go by. You don't ask them, is somebody beating you up? No, you ask them, is there something I can do for you? After a while, somebody's going to start talking. They just need an ear to hear.
Yeah.
And so that ministry, I got blessed with that ministry. Thank God for Pauline Moore pulling it out of me because I couldn't believe I was telling my story in public. Because, I'm this preacher, and we have these
images
that you're God itself. You don't.
God incarnate, and especially I'm not sure about other faiths, but we share the Christian faith, and I've been in church for 30 plus years. I didn't grow up in church, but I've been in church for 30 plus years, and there definitely is an image that clergy has to maintain. And there is this godlike complex that clergy embodies, and that people kind of attach that ideal onto clergy.
Yeah.
That you are this perfect. You're perfect. You're perfect. And even
you're not supposed to have these things because you know God.
Right. And even though you know it logically that it's not true, we still sometimes put them on a pedestal.
We do. And we ourselves, like I said, I was so embarrassed to even reach out and get help.
Yeah.
Because I'm saying to myself, but you're clergy.
You should know better.
You should know better. You should be able to fix yourself.
Yeah.
You can't fix yourself. Thank God for mental health therapists, because I do have a therapist, and I do see it, and I tell anybody and everybody, get a therapist. It's hard out here. You need somebody.
A therapist, a coach, a mentor, a friend, a guide, a support. You need a tribe.
You do.
You need a tribe, and people who will tell you the truth.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? People who will tell you the truth.
Somebody should have said, Beverly, that's not good for you. I saw this thing that said, why drink poison? Because you're thirsty. Just because you're thirsty, don't drink the poison.
Right.
Do you give some water after a while or something? So that's what my ministry does. My ministry will train people and prepare them to keep going on. And look at me now. And then I was offered a job to teach at Lincoln University now.
Oh, congratulations.
So starting this Saturday, I'm going to be teaching human resources in the business program.
That's wonderful.
So don't tell me I don't need to go to school.
Yeah. It's oppressive.
So I'm thriving now. It's and it's all because God will turn our pain into purpose. And he'll take your mess and make it your ministry.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Beth, thank you so much for being a part of Real Talk on Racism and giving us an opportunity to hear your story.
Thank you.
And for those of you who are watching, if you're interested in learning more about Bev or any of these incredible women who are in this anthology, please get your copy of Queens Who Defied the Odds. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Renai Ellison. I'll see you next time.